Hello everyone and welcome back to my favourite room in the house. Today I wanted to open up a few more of the bits and pieces that I brought back from JoeFest with me. And they are a couple of figures I bought from the fabulous 3 3/4 inch O-ring line from Delta-17. Before I do that, I just wanted to talk to you about what inspired me to make these purchases from Delta-17 and what played a part in getting me to JoeFest. And it dates back to about this time last year. The guys from Podcast from the Pit, Casey, Eric, and Matt, they sort of pooled their resources and purchased for me a 2024 JoeFest exclusive Delta-17 figure, which was, of course, the Red Okami. It was a complete shock to see him on my doorstep. Obviously, it would have been a considerable expense to mail him all the way from America to Australia. So it's a gesture that I was overwhelmed by. And of course, the figure is one that I will cherish forever. The whole thing sort of got me thinking as well. Maybe I should put some cash aside and head over and meet these guys and see what JoeFest is all about. So thank you to Casey, Eric, Matt, and the Delta-17 team for planting that seed for me. The Red Okami figure came in a basic clamshell pack, which I have stored away in my drawer for safekeeping. But the moment I opened that clamshell, I realized that these figures are just the real deal. They are the closest thing, I believe, to opening up a G.I. Joe from back in the 80s. There's also been a lot of thought gone into the design of these figures and their features, and I could tell that just by looking at this one Red Okami that I added to my collection last year. One of the best things about them is that the hands are detachable and they also swivel, which allows the figures to hold their weapons a little bit better than the old G.I. Joe figures from the 80s. The other cool thing about the Okami is he comes with lots of accessories, and all the accessories can be carried on his backpack. And this backpack is pretty special as well because it actually splits into two. I'll take it off so we can have a look. So on the backpack we have a little machine pistol, I suppose you'd call it, which is very cool, as you can see here. We also have two long swords, which are really beautiful swords. They're really nice. And two short swords, as you can see here. They're pretty cool as well. And these swords actually have a little notch in the end. I don't know if you can see that. And that is compatible with the plug on the wrist. So you can actually get around with a short sword as a hand. How cool is that? The other thing about this backpack is that it is sort of able to split in two. So if I was to undo that carefully, I've now got two backpacks. So with this backpack, for example, so you can get the camera to focus there, I can obviously put the long swords back in, and he can use that as a backpack independently, which is very cool. Or I can do the same with this little backpack, and I can replace the short swords. As you see, there's some plugs here for those hands, so I'll put the hand on there. And yeah, obviously the SMG was from this backpack, so I'll chuck that back on there. It's a little bit tricky on camera. I do apologise. There we go. So that's pretty cool, but the other half here, that also goes into his back, which is very cool as well. So Red Okami, fantastic figure, certainly inspired me to head to JoeFest and to also have a look and take Delta-17 figures really seriously. So anyways, fast forward 12 months or so, and I find myself at JoeFest making friends with the likes of Steve, with Ken, with Joe Recondo, with John, with Crash, with all the people that have poured their heart into this line. And I'm not really a quick adopter of new things. Vintage is certainly my jam, but because of the time that these guys took to spend with me, I certainly felt compelled to make some purchases. So I asked Casey for his recommendations, and I bought 3 figures from the first Delta-17 wave. So the 3 figures that I bought, I didn't want to rip the bubbles off the card immediately, but I had no choice because space was limited in my luggage. So I removed the bubbles from the card backs, but I didn't actually take the figures out of the bubbles until right now. I'm doing it live on camera for you all to see. So my reactions here are going to be my first reactions, obviously. The figures that Casey told me to get were Shepherd. There he is in the bubble there. The Death Sparrow. There she is. And Rooster. Very avian sort of lineup here. This is very cool. So as I said, I ripped them off the card back, but didn't pop them out of the bubble. And I could do that because of this intelligent sort of bubble design that Delta-17 come up with as well. So the bubble is two-sided, which means when you pull that bubble off the card, things just don't explode everywhere. The bubble comes in 2 pieces, so everything is nice and safe and secured in that packaging, which is very cool. But we'll come back to that. I just wanted to show you the file cards. First and foremost, the artwork on these is very cool. So this is the Delta-17 leader Shepherd, and he is age 43, similar age to me, which is interesting. His name is James Washburn, and he's from Philadelphia in PA, which is Pennsylvania, I think. He's a rank of 2nd lieutenant. As the field commander of Delta-17, Shepherd doesn't flinch when the bombs start dropping and the bullets start flying. That's the moment when he feels the most at one with himself. He's seasoned but not cynical, hardened but approachable, has high expectations but is fair. Shepherd's whole adult life has been about the military, joining the army at the age of 18 and soon transferring to the Rangers. His last posting was as a member of the US Army Delta Force, before being personally selected to lead Delta-17. Shepherd is brave, bold, and task-oriented. He's exactly as a field commander should be, and then some. Toy features: removable helmet, which will be interesting to have a look at. Removable, reversible night vision goggles, that's pretty cool. And a stowable shotgun, which clips onto his backpack. That sounds awesome. And a well-written file card, I might add as well. So congratulations to Delta-17 for, as I said before, really putting some thought into these figures. They've done really well. So I'll put the file card for Shepherd up there, and we'll crack him open. Here he is. So yeah, as I said, the bubbles are double-sided, so it can be sort of safe in the knowledge that nothing is going to explode. Actually, there's 3 pieces of plastic in there, so that's very cool. How good is that? It seems a bit weird getting excited over plastic, but you know, there you have it. Oh, this is awesome. So first impressions, the figure feels beautiful straight out of the packaging. He's amazing. Detachable hands again. I was a little bit worried there that his hand was on backwards, but I remembered that that the hands do come off. Well, they don't come off. They just swivel. So a bit different to the Red Okami. These ones are attached, but they still swivel, which I don't mind. It's very cool. The swiveling hands allow you to obviously hold your weapons a little bit better. Now this one, the helmet is phenomenal there. It's got like a skull print on it, and apparently it was removable. So is that the removable helmet, or is there a helmet in here that is removable? There it is there. So this was the removable helmet that they were talking about, which looks kind of pretty cool. So I dare say it fits on like so. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And it has sort of like a receptacle there on the front, I'd imagine, for some night vision goggles, which are really small. So I'll carefully grab them out. There they are there. That's they're very cool. They're sort of gonna fit in his helmet here. That's amazing. That is very, very cool. Love that. And then there's obviously some weaponry here. So there is a backpack which looks like it's got a clip for that shotgun, as it said on the packaging. So I'm assuming that this is the one that fits in there. I'm not sure how that works. So I might need some help with that, or unless it's the other one. Let's have a look here. No, I don't think. It's a nice little machine gun. Is it that one that goes in there, or is it this one? I'd say it'd have to be this one. How does that go in there? I might have to shoot a message to my good friend Ken and get some further clarification on that. It doesn't look obvious to me immediately. So I don't want to break it as well. That's the other thing. I've watched some of Adam's videos where he's by accident broken an action figure whilst playing with it for the first time. So maybe I'll come back to that. I'll put his backpack on his back for the time being, which fits beautifully, nice and snug. The other good thing about the Delta-17 figures is they come with these battle stands, which is cool because most people buying these are adult collectors and they're usually displaying them in a cabinet like I do. So to have a battle stand is a great idea as well. The weapons go into the hands nice and snug, as you see. He's going to dual wield my mate, the shepherd. Yeah, very, very cool, as you can see. Great colours too. So I know not everyone likes neon like me. So to see some olive drab with black just makes this guy look really mean. And maybe a bit of a desert sort of tribute there with the tan scarf. Maybe he's obviously got that ranger background, so he's used to fighting in all sorts of environments. These shotgun shells on his leg are pretty groovy too. So that is Shepherd. Just for comparison's sake, I got out my original Flint figure from the gijoe line. And as you can see there, these Delta-17 figures, they're very close to the look and the aesthetic of the original Joes. I feel like Flint and Shepherd, as leaders of their respective units, could certainly hang out together. They're very cool. So I'll chuck Shepherd and Flint over there. We'll have a look at the next figure. So the next figure I want to open is this guy. His name is Rooster. He is the Delta-17 comms and recon officer. And the artwork on this guy is pretty cool. He has a mohawk and camo paint all over his face. He looks like a Real fearsome soldier. That's very cool. Just having a look at his file card. Rooster is 32 years old. His real name is Eric Warcloud. He is the rank of corporal, and he was born in Akwesasne in New York. Apologies if I stuffed up that pronunciation. We have some strange place names here in Australia too, so yeah, I do apologise if that's the incorrect way to say it. Akwesasne. Nicknamed Rooster by his colleagues for his iconic haircut, which he wears as a hat tip to his Native American heritage. Yep, hence the mohawk and the name Eric Warcloud. And his ironic, silent nature. So he doesn't say much, this guy. Rooster rarely speaks, but when he does, you best listen. As a young teenager, Rooster was sent out on a spirit quest to enter manhood. 2 years later, he sent a postcard from Iraq. He had walked so far and lived off the land so long, he didn't want to go back. Instead, he joined the army and joined the Rangers. Rooster was famous in his town for long walks in the bush and would often return weeks later with enough smoked game to feed many people in his village. Now, the features of this one is the backpack is the dual pack system, much like the Okami figure that I was just talking about. And the radio portion can be detached from the larger pack and worn on its own, which is pretty cool. Also a detachable radio handset, which we'll check out. The card art, again, it's just fantastic. So there's Shepard at the top there and Rooster here on the left-hand side under the Delta-17 faction, obviously. It's pretty cool. So we'll open up Rooster. I started to do that before. As I said, a couple of dual clamshell sort of operations here to keep everything all enclosed, which is very cool. And this figure, this figure is amazing. Let me just say it straight off the bat. It looks phenomenal. So I've obviously dislodged one of the little aerials antennas. I'll put that aside for now, but he looks phenomenal. Such a cool sculpt. Beautiful paintwork. And are the hands? Yep, the hands swivel as well on this guy, which is very cool. Beautiful tight joints, but not joints that feel like they will break if you fiddle around with them. The mohawk, it's fantastic. What a fantastic figure. I think the only other figure I've got with a mohawk is old mate Ninja Force Zartan, so it's great to see a mohawk in 3 3/4 inches again. I'll put him on his battle stand straight away. There we go. That's pretty cool. Stand him up right there for everyone to have a look at. Just leave that antenna there. So the backpack was a 2-piece jobby again. So there it is there. That's pretty cool. And yeah, look, it comes apart. So you can obviously put this straight into the back of the figure, or you can put this straight into the back of the figure, which is very cool. I'm going to put them back together for now. That's actually pretty cool looking backpack, that one. I'll chuck that on. There we go. Again, nice snug fit in the back. Love that. And another little machine gun here, which is very groovy. Just need it to focus. Some great sculpting has gone into these. A lot of effort. Full credit to the guys from Delta-17. Here is the little detachable radio. So I had trouble with Shepard trying to fit that shotgun into his backpack. Let's see if I can find where this goes. I dare say it works on his backpack, as you can see. There we go. That one was easier to figure out. So straight into the backpack, as you can see. And I'll put one of these antennas in the plug hole at the top there, which is again pretty obvious. Now, antennas have a tendency to go missing So I guess that's why they've supplied this figure with a spare antenna, which is, again, just shows how thoughtful the team has been in putting these figures together. So yeah, no, that's very cool. That is the Rooster. He's awesome. So what figure did I get out to compare this guy to? So I got my original Hit and Run out of the cabinet, because Hit and Run is a similar colour and has that all over camo face paint, and I thought would make a great comparison to my mate Rooster. And there they are there. How cool. So another little two-man squad that could certainly do some damage in my G.I. Joe universe. That's Rooster. He's very, very cool. I'll put him over there. Okay, so the last figure is the Death Sparrow. She is the retrograd leader. There she is there. She's a mean-looking human. Very, very cool. Love that. Real sort of maybe Soviet vibes there. She's love this artwork on her patch, on her sleeve. Obviously, the retrograd faction has a wolf as their logo, which is very cool. Again, some more great art on the back with Death Sparrow and some of her Okami colleagues. Death Sparrow is 32 years old. Her name is Anya Petrovich, and she's from Moscow in Russia. Her rank is captain. Death Sparrow is the commander of Retrograd, a mercenary army that has been hired to be the primary task force for missions on behalf of the Dark Shadows. So I think that's the Dark Shadows logo up there. Death Sparrow's lived a hard life, and it exudes from her like heat from a fire. She is not to be trifled with nor underestimated. She is violent, determined, and highly intelligent. Joining the army at a young age, she was quickly transferred to GRU Spetsnaz Field Unit. Another interesting place name, Spetsnaz, where her natural leadership abilities and fiery spirit gain her notoriety within her ranks. Retrograd consists primarily of disgruntled Spetsnaz members, many of whom were handpicked by Death Sparrow herself. Death Sparrow directly answers to Shadow Dragon, leader of the Dark Shadows. Cool. Her preferred payment method is gold. That's certainly fair enough. It's pretty cool. So I'll put the artwork over there with the other ones that I have, and we will crack open the Death Sparrow for the first time. So again, it's got that triple clamshell sort of setup, which helps keep everything in there nice and tidy. She's again another cool looking figure. She's beautiful, really beautiful. Love that. Yeah, she's really cool. I'm sorry about the camera not focusing. I'm just, like I said, I'm seeing these ones for the first time, and I'm actually looking at the figures rather than worrying about what I'm filming. So I do apologise if they're really blurry shots, but yeah, I'm just excited, like a kid on Christmas morning, I suppose. She's very cool, very, very cool. Love her. Obviously comes with the stands like the other three did. Here, I'll put her on that. These stands, they don't feel like they're gonna break the feet either, which is something that G.I. Joe collectors tend to worry about. She's also got a pretty good looking backpack here. Very, very reminiscent of G.I. Joe. Very cool. Obviously the coloration matches her coloration throughout. So That's very cool. And this weapon looks amazing as well. So it's some sort of Tommy gun with an ammunition canister on the front. As you can see, that's really nice. So Death Sparrow, she strikes me as an absolute boss. That is awesome. This is very, very cool. Love her. So they are the 3 figures I bought. Before I wind this up, I obviously wanted to get a G.I. Joe out to compare to Death Sparrow, and that is Lady J, of course. Lady J is a little bit taller, but Lady J is one of the tallest G.I. Joes. But I reckon these two could be friends in a different life. They look like they could cause a little bit of trouble together. So yeah, very cool. So there are my Delta-17 purchases from JoeFest, alongside a couple of other G.I. Joes that I've had in my cabinet for a long time, just for comparison's sake. And there is the Red Okami that I was gifted last year. All in all, some really good figures, and I can't recommend them highly enough. I reckon I'll probably have a look at purchasing some more in the near future. So if you'd like to do so as well, look out for Delta-17 online at delta17toys.com. I'll put the link in the description. Thanks to everyone if you've made it this far. Thanks to everyone who has watched all of my other videos. If you've enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. It's hard work doing YouTube as an amateur, and seeing those likes and those comments and those subscribers certainly keeps me motivated. So I'd really appreciate it if you could help me out by subscribing. That's all I've got for you today. I'll catch you next time. What's the catch cry for Delta-17? I'm not sure. Oh well. Yo, Joe.